topic and address. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Satish, and thank you, Deepak Ladda and Hyderabad branch of ICI. Thank you very much for this 3 days session. There's good response from the members on this topic. Many of them are requesting for hands-on. I think branch is very proactive in organizing it. Physical, I think they are thinking for a physical session. So be that as it is. Till now we were talking about, yes, at the cost of repetition, again I say, we are talking about configurations, the importance of configuration, considering the certifications we do at the audit report and so on. Yes, we make a very important comment on the, I think they are asking for my video. I'm little bit informal with t-shirt. I didn't go home to change the dress, and then I was not opening video. Anyhow, I'll just close it after some time. So the point what I'm trying to refer is, we say true and fair. Incidentally, I was listening to my favorite topic, Bhagavad Gita, yesterday. There's 45 minutes of thorough lecture on SVBC channel 6 to 7 evening, the same time yesterday, on Satyam, the word Satyam. It's referred to in chapter 16 of second sloka. Lord Krishna was talking about Satyam, and the person who was explaining on the channel was talking on the word Satyam for 40 minutes. And I was connecting that to our profession. Wherever I listen, whatever I listen, I would like to connect it to my profession. So in that way, when I was connecting his lecture to my profession, I was relating the word true and fair. True meaning any number of tests you conduct on that evidence, the outcome will never change. That is the word of Satyam being defined in Sanskrit. And that's what beautifully explained yesterday for 40 minutes. And I was relating that to our audit report where we say true and fair. When I say true and fair, when I say the ledger figures are true and fair, my audit procedures, the audit procedures are conducted in such a way to validate that the balances are true and fair. The first word is true. I am not going beyond true. It may be true and correct. It may be true and fair. Let's forget about the next word. Let's confine to the word true itself. True meaning Satyam. Truth is Satyam. So the overall essence, what the yesterday's 40 minutes of discussion was, is Satyam, the word true doesn't change. It remains. You conduct any number of tests on it, the figure should not change. That is called as validation. And yes, all our auditing standards talk about validating those things. And hence, we need to prove to the regulatory authorities that I have validated the truth. And true and fair is first stated by the management. It is the management's responsibility to prepare true and fair financial statements through a well laid down internal control procedures, IFC, procurement to pay, order to sale, WBS, that is work breakdown structure, it's called in SAP, nothing but order processing for fixed assets, and sale order, and then HR, TDS, GST, material management, whatnot. That's what Alok Daga was patient enough in explaining in Tally. Through all those processes, the ledger is prepared from ledger financial, from ledger trial balance, from trial balance schedules, subschedules, and financial statements. And those financial statements are true and fair. True and fair. I repeat again, stress true, Satyam, and fair. And those are validated by us independently through our own processes, through our own independent process, meaning, and if someone can look at the way the Big Four does the audit, they don't touch the books of accounts. They don't take the control of books of accounts. They'll only ask for the statements. Through the statements, they keep validating, through the statements or files, they validate the ledger figures and say yes. Only for here and there on a sample basis, they touch the books of accounts, but otherwise, they don't take control of books of accounts. The reason is, once I take the control of books of accounts, meaning I have seen 360 degrees, the client will at any given point of time will say, I have handed over the tally backup to the auditor, and it is for the auditor to say what it is. And the first day I was referring to various digital footprints that we are leaving. In one such footprint, that the tally backup is in my system, and the moment you open the tally, anyone can see. Let me just demonstrate. Let me just demonstrate. So this is the tally background folder. You can see 23rd, day before yesterday at 16/8. At 16/8, this is the date stamp. Once you open this file and make a small entry or a date change, then immediately there is a change here. Meaning, where this has changed in my system, if something goes wrong, you know very well the first fellow to be attacked is the chartered accountant. And you might have seen most, I can dare to say 70% of the GST frauds, along with the fraudster, a chartered accountant name was also prominently visible for whatever reason it is. And having known that, they first come to the chartered accountant's office, they take control of the system, whether permitted or not, because they say, I'll complain to your institute and all, they blackmail, Howrah mail, all those things, they do it. And then they take control, and then they say they'll open and then see, yes, the last time when the tally was edited in your laptop or on your system or on the server is so and so time. And after that, only the return is filed. I will say, I will infer that you have done this. If you accept, we will leave it. We will go to the client. If you don't accept, we'll also try to book a case. This is enough for us. If you try to change this, you're tampering the evidence. If you try to change this, if you are tampering the evidence is a very serious crime under CPC. And Information Technology Act, tampering information technology evidence is much more serious again. So they are trying to use all this CPC criminal procedure code and then blackmail and then go ahead. The only reason why I'm talking about all these issues is, let us not take control of the accounting procedures of client into our hand, and let's not give a trail, audit trail, that yes, these things are being done. From that point of view, I'm saying system validations for true and fair. What we are saying is, let us not touch this. Let us make a habit. Yes, it is high time. We need to put the systems, as Vijay Srinivas was saying. Let us engage someone else who will prepare all these things. Let the client pay directly or indirectly, whatever methodology you adopt is left to you. But let us not give a trail that yes, the systems are in my control. So from that point of view, when we go into these systems, I'll stop sharing this. Yeah. When we talk about configurations, when we talk about true and fair, documentation plays a dominant role. Yes, I'll talk about very detailed documentation using Excel, right from the appointment procedure to the reporting level. 30 minutes of a very detailed presentation. I'll start comparing that presentation considering the NEFRA report, which is available on 23rd September. They also started verifying they have also commented 343 pages. They have commented process wise, starting from appointment to the end of it. They have started doing it. So in the same process, I'll also start demonstrating those things, but not now. Let's move into the standard Excel presentations, and then in between I'll take over, and then we'll move into Excel documentation. I think either Vijay or Sharan may take the control of it now.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Probably I'll start with where we have left yesterday. And thank you once again, ICI branch, for providing this opportunity for the last 2 days and including today, third day. And excited to see the number of participants consistently for the last 3 days. So yesterday we are dealing with GSTR 9 compilation, class 4, class 5, and also a couple of things. Today we'll try to quickly go through the reconciliation part. In fact, this part, it's been dealt in different ways. I mean, you could see like many videos published in YouTube, or many ways people consolidate into one particular file, then they go for pivot table, compare both as per purchase register and as per 2A. All that is fine. All that is fine, provided the data what is captured in your purchase register is almost all is in sync with what is there in your GSTR register, GSTR 2A. If only my data, which is being captured in either Tally or ERP or Excel, is at least to an extent is fine in terms of, when I say fine, in terms of could be GSTR number, GST number, or could be invoice number, or could be amount as well. Okay. But if there is a change, if there is not captured, because that's what challenge what we see, because unfortunately the accountants see I as small l, O as 0, 0 as O, 1 as small l. Okay, that's how they see, and that's how they capture the information into the Tally or ERP, and that's the challenge what we are going to face when we are going to reconcile. And before we do reconciliation, I suggest to first of all validate whether the data provided to you is in a proper form. For example, you try to validate whether the GSTN number is right or not. Okay, say for example, if I want to check the length of GSTN, whether it is perfectly 15 digits or whether it is short of that particular, because I'm dealing with purchase register which is exported from a Tally. If it is wrongly captured, there is no point going for the reconciliation. First, the data has to be reset in a proper. Similarly, the kind of challenges, as you can see, 0 being captured as O or 1 being captured as L, so many challenges. So I suggest initially you validate the purchase register provided to you, whether it is in Excel form. If it is exported, then also try to validate whether everything is captured, at least the primary key or the GSTN number to that extent, because that's where it forms key for us to reconcile both purchase register and the GSTRP. That's one aspect. Second, the challenges will be in terms of a date or in terms of the invoice number, in terms of amount. So what I thought is, instead of taking up live example, because live example, some data might be proper in some angle, others. So what I've tried to do is I'll try to put all the challenges possible in case of purchase register. So what I've done is I've captured part of the bill numbers in case of purchase register, wherein if you go to GSTR 2A, customer for his own reasons would have captured the proper invoice number, because without that auto validation will not happen. So he would follow the invoice rules properly while uploading. So from the GSTR 2A point of view, we'll get all proper information. The challenge is from our point of view. So let's say in the purchase register, the challenge is part of bill number captured. Challenge is GSTN number not properly captured. Challenge is our guy taxable value has captured including decimals, okay, as per the invoice. And maybe in GSTR 2A, while uploading, he might have rounded it off while uploading. He may not have mentioned the full amount, okay, various kinds, okay. So in such scenario, if there is so much of difference between my purchase register and the GSTR 2A, how best I can find out a way, okay. So for this, probably we can take a couple of aspects in terms of where exactly there could be mistakes happening in GSTN number. Like there was a survey published in the initial days of GSTN, or in fact, there was also a survey published saying that why that the amount deposited up to beyond 50,000 in the banks, while SFT reports, why that there was so many mistakes captured in PAN numbers. So they've identified that many of the mistakes are happening from 6 to 9 digits. That's where the numerics, wherever you have this numeric part playing in PAN number, because obviously, as I said, no one and small l kind of thing. So what safest zone I can consider in GST, and that's one part. What is the safest zone when it comes to invoice number? What is the safest zone when it comes to amounts? So that is where I'll try to concentrate and try to use that for reconciling. Okay. So before that, what we'll do is we'll make up references also, because when I try to capture this VLOOKUP or something, I don't want to keep on using mouse or browse through that particular value. So initially, I can either select this entire thing, go to your formulas, you can say create from selection, you say top row. So that way, what happens if in case I want to find out the sum of taxable value, let's say I want to find out sum of taxable value, I can easily browse to that particular term, because once we have created from the top row, the label has been created for each of the columns what we have selected. Okay, so I don't want to keep on using mouse because we are doing this between two different files or two different sheets. By virtue of using mouse, you might probably select a wrong range. Again, you have to come back, keep editing, and also best way is always create your references. So if I'm referring for taxable value, I straight away get what is the sum of those taxable value. I don't need to browse to that particular column. Okay. But anyway, this is just a sample of references, what I was mentioning about creating references. But what we'll do is we'll do it in a little different way. For that, let me just clear this entire references. As I was saying, I will identify that common point, which I can make out from purchase register as well as from GST RTA. Before that, what is the first step we need to do is obviously the GST RTA, the way it is displayed, this like duplication. There is a amount and then a subtotal amount, then you have blanks. So we just try to refine the data in a proper form. First step. So without disturbing the original file, what I'll just drag into the duplicate form. I'll take a duplicate sheet. The best way, easiest way is out of all the columns what you see, you can identify that the rate column is much easier to filter, because when it comes to total, it will not capture the total of rate. So it is going to have hyphen or a zero kind of value. Okay, so I'll take up this column to filter down whatever I don't want. Whatever I want, that only I'll retain. So simple step is place your cursor on the top of the header, Control Shift and End. Let me just type it somewhere. So I'm going to use Control plus Shift plus End by placing your cursor on the first cell. Okay, so that way I'll place my cursor over here. I'll say Control Shift End. So it is going to select the entire data, no matter how many records you have. It will go to the last part of your records. That's the first step. Second, I'll use Control Shift L. I believe all of you all know what is Control Shift L stands for. It basically applies a filter. It applies a filter on the data what you have selected. Okay, so irrespective of blanks you have, irrespective of any other junk data you have, because you have selected the entire data, once you say Control Shift L, it is going to apply filter across the data while connecting all the blanks as well, because that's how you have selected your data. Now you try to filter that column, which facilitates you to get rid of all the junk and all the blanks. As I was mentioning, I can't use any of the fields because everything is same. I can't filter based on format of bold, so-called bold or whatever it is, or italic font or whatever. So rather, as I said, I would rather take the rate column, because if I have a rate, that's what the row I want to retain. Apart from that, I don't want a blank. I don't want a hyphen. So I'll just untick the rate part, so that whatever is left over is those gross total values, subtotal values, and the blanks. I'll place my cursor in the first row of the data. Again, I'll use Control Shift End, the same shortcut what we have used, Control Shift End. Then I'll use Control plus minus. What it will do, it will just remove that entire data. So I'll say Control minus. Once I do that, if I remove the filters applying Control Shift L, what is left over is the actual data what you're looking for, a refined data what you're looking for. So you got rid of the blanks, you got rid of all the subtotals, whatever is unique value, whatever is unique row that you have written. That's the first step what we have done with. Now we are trying to reconcile this with the data what we have in purchase register. Okay. So for that, either I can include columns at the end or probably filter down whatever is not required. Say, for example, this I don't require, I'll hide down. And maybe the place of supply, if only I have some issues with the top first 2 digits of GSTN. As of now, I can just hide this particular value. I'll hide this as well. And if required, I'll just keep the rest of the taxes, and whatever is not required, I'll hide all those. Okay, so let me just quickly hide whatever is not required. Okay. Now, what is left over is you have the GSTN number, the respective supplier name, so and so, so and so, so and so. Now we are trying to reconcile. Now, as I said, I can't take up the challenge of reconciling directly using VLOOKUP this, because as I said, there are chances of rounding of values. There are chances of exact invoice number in 2A, whereas a wrong invoice number in purchase register. So what rather I'll do is I'll try to create a unique value out of both. What is unique value is, because as you know, VLOOKUP, if I'm performing a VLOOKUP, let's say, for example, just to explain a bit of VLOOKUP, though there was an interesting survey saying that those people who use VLOOKUP and pivot, out of those regular users, 95% of the people still get scared the next day when they start using it. For some reason, they're scared to use these particular functions because they are not so confident while using this particular. It's pretty simple. VLOOKUP, you are looking for a particular value. Where you are looking, that's where the area, you call it as table array. And it starts with the column where your lookup value is. That is, if you are looking for GSTN, the table what you select is from GSTN, not from any other place. And you'll select up to that resultant column what you are looking for. And obviously, out of those columns what you have selected, which column number value you are looking for. Okay, anyway, let's not get into more technical. Probably we'll take this opportunity at the time of hands-off sessions what we are going to have. So what I'm going to look up is, if I'm looking for, say, GSTN, okay, and I'm searching for this GSTN in this particular value, the way it looks is, if I'm evaluating this, if I'm saying F9, what VLOOKUP does is it will search for this particular value. It keeps searching sequentially, linearly. And once it has reached that particular point, the search stops there. It will not go any further. So that is the reason whenever you are having duplicate values, every time you'll get this particular value only, first value only, default value only, for the reason that the search stops there itself. There is no point going beyond, because already it has found the value what it is looking for. That is the reason whenever we are using VLOOKUP, we have to go for a unique value. Now, how do you create a unique value? Let's say out of this purchase register, as I said, I'll identify those fields which will be a proper combination of unique value. So what I'll do is, I'll give a heading called unique value. To this, I'll use a combination of values. What is the combination? Let's say if I'm saying right of my date, okay, so out of date, I want to pick up 2 digits from the right side of the date. As you all know, date is nothing but any number. That's the reason your Excel has placed the date as part of the number, because date is no difference from number. It is just a serial number started generated 1st of January 1900. So if I'm having this particular called date, so if I'm saying is equal to date value, if I convert this is basically looking like, if I generalize this, because this is in text format, I'll just say general. It has to be a text value. So let me just put in terms of text value, because it speaks. So the date what we are looking for 3rd of September is actually a serial number called 44,442. Okay. So when we force any text function, obviously it is going to convert the date into a text format. Thereby, what it has extracted is out of 44,442, it has extracted the last digits. So if you are dealing with the data where you have transactions once in a while, maybe once in 2 days, 3 days, you can go for 2 digits. Or if you are having regular transactions, you can go for 2 digits. If you're having once in a while, you can go for 1 digit, because what we are trying to do is, out of the serial number, we are picking the least possible change, like say 42 days. If I'm saying 42, if I say 2, it's just a 2 days date difference between what I'm looking in my purchase register and the supply GSTR. So to this, I'll combine another part called, I'll again use write. This time to that, I'll add the bill number. Now, why I'm adding right side of the bill number is because when we speak about invoice from GSTR 2A, invoice rules follows in GSTR 2A, but whereas in case of purchase register, my accountant is only interested in which bill is pending, which bill is paid off. So he'll not see the first part of the invoice number. He'll be concentrating only on the last part of the invoice number because he want to identify whether bill is paid or not. So he'll just keep a track of 030405. He'll not be worried about invoice rules and all. Okay. So I'll also concentrate on the same part. I'll pick up the last 2 or 3 digits so that at least the actual bill number pertaining to the invoice supplier is not disturbed. So I'll say maybe 3 digits. So a combination of 2 dates, part of 2 dates, and a combination of bill number has created. To this, I'll again make another combination of, let's say this time, let's take up a GSTN number. Why I'm not risking of taking the entire GST number, as we understood, partly if it is captured wrong, it may not match with the GST. I'll pick up that part of GSTN which is safer. Safer in the sense, obviously, I'll not take top 2 digits, first 2 digits, because for the reason that the same GSTN might be registered in multiple states. So it might be 3629. So what rather I'll do is, I'll pick up from the 3rd place of the GSTN number. Let's say I'll pick up 3 digits out of the GSTN number. I'm picking up that safest area where the least possible mistakes are possible have happened by virtue of publications or analysis or whatever. But even otherwise, through our experience also, we would have noted that most risk less area is that particular part of your PAN number. So again, I'll do this. I'll add another combination of your taxable value, because when we speak about taxable value, it could be rounded off. If I'm taking the entire taxable value, I can't use left side. Because the same digit, like say 34,000, 3,400 kind of possibility might be there. So here also, I'll just pick up that area, maybe a mid of the taxable value, so that I'll say from 3rd digit, I'll pick up 2 digits out of the taxable value. Now, to explain this particular unique value, what I've created, if I consider that there is a possibility of duplicate, I'm looking for a remote possibility of duplicate where the same customer has supplied with the same bill number on the same date for a same amount. Okay, so you are looking for a remote kind of possibility, which is hardly possible, where the same customer supplies for with the same bill number on the same date with the same amount. Okay, so that kind of combination, what I made a remote possible kind of combination, and this I'll just copy to the entire data. Okay, now this I'm going to refer in my GSTR 2A for the sake of reconciliation. What I'll do is I'll use this label. So what we have learned, I just say create from selection. I'll take the top row so that this data will be referred to as unique value. So this part we have done in case of purchase register. Now coming back to our GSTR 2A, which we have refined the same steps what we have done in case of purchase register, I'll do in case of GSTR 2A also, because we are trying to reconcile from both. I'll use the same combination so that my purpose is to see that whether the invoices reflecting in purchase is also there in 2A and vice versa. So just to quickly run through this, I'll say write off the date where we said 2 digits, and we have picked up a bill number also. So we have picked up write off bill number where we have used 3 digits. To this, I've used a GST number, which is just hiding behind this particular row, where we have picked up from 3rd digit, we have picked up 3 digits, just to have the preview of so far what we have picked up. To this, we have added taxable value of this particular taxable value, where we have picked up maybe from 3rd digit, we have picked up 2 digits of the taxable value, and we made a combination. Now, this is what the unique, what I'm looking for. Now, if I perform a VLOOKUP on this, I'll look up for this invoice number, this unique value in the purchase table. The same way I look for the unique value from purchase table into my GSTR 2A to see that everything is matching or not. Okay, so I'll just quickly copy this, run through the entire combination, and here also let me call this as some name. Let's call it as maybe unique. May not we use the same. I'll say value underscore unique, so that just to differentiate from the earlier label. And let's define this using create from selection, or you can use Control Shift and F3 as a shortcut. Just to mention, you can say Control plus Shift plus F3 if you want to use a shortcut. Okay. Now let me just check whether it has created. Yeah, value underscore. When I refer to value underscore, this refers to this data. When I refer to unique underscore, that will refer to the data which is in the purchase register. Now we have the data ready. Now we can straight away get and perform the VLOOKUP. Now what we'll do, we'll look for, maybe I want to get the taxable value based on this from the GSTR2A, because we are doing two-way reconciliation. So I want to say taxable value in GSTR2A. The same way in GSTR2A, I'll say taxable value in purchase register. Okay, so let's start with, I'll say VLOOKUP. What is that I'm looking for? I'm looking for this value. Now here, let me show another way of picking up the data, because when we say VLOOKUP, the table, if I'm selecting from this point, let's say taxable value, from here, if I'm selecting, this will become my column 1 and this will become my column 6 or 7. But VLOOKUP says, first of all, it should start from your lookup value. You can't select any other column. Okay, so because it will look for only the first column value out of selection. So how to make your this as the first column and the rest taxable value as the second column? For that, let me just show you a simple technique, which probably you can revisit while the video is uploaded in YouTube, just to understand the concept much in detail. There is this option of if condition, using if condition. So if I'm using if as an array, let's say I use this curly bracket, I'll say true, I'll say false. So what I'm doing is I'm capturing true and false as an array. Say, for example, this I'll call as true and this I'll call as false. Okay, so what it will do is, if I'm evaluating this F9, it will capture, one second, false. Yes. Now, what it will do is, if I'm evaluating this, it will capture first this one, second this one, first this one, second this one. I mean, column 1, column 2, row number 2, column 1, column 2, row number 3, column 1, column 2. So logically, I'm saying for every true, pick up total value, for every false, pick up unique value. So this is looking similar to the table array what we have used in VLOOKUP. So instead of selecting the entire table, what I'll do is, to save time and also not to confuse VLOOKUP much, I'll just select here. Okay. And before that, let also create the names for this, so that I don't want to use mouse again and again. So just to remind, Control Shift F3, I used top row. So we have defined taxable value for this column, unique value for this column. And the same way, we'll also use Control Shift F3. Before that, let me just put underscore here, because that's the labeling feature. So I'll use Control Shift F3 and top row. So what we have is two labels from, okay, this is having the same name. So let me just rename with something. Maybe I'll put underscore at the beginning and say Control Shift F3, because you can't have same label for both the values. Okay, now we have this taxable value refers to, let me just clear this. Yeah, let me just do it quickly. Control Shift F3, you've created for this, and going back over here, you say Control Shift F3 created for this. Now you have 4 references, 2 from this table, 2 from other table. Now I'll straight away get into VLOOKUP. I'm looking for this unique value. Where I'm looking for? I'll be looking for this from the GSTR2A. So I'll use if, I'll use curly bracket, true, false. That means for every true, pick up the first column of your GSTR2A. The name what we have used in first column is, you said value underscore unique. If you remember, that's the name we have given in the GSTR2A. Let me just take you to the GSTR2A. So that's the name what we have used, value underscore unique. The same name I'll be using over here. So for every true, I'll say value underscore unique. For every false, I'll say underscore taxable value underscore. Now what you have done is, you have selected those 2 columns only for the sake of VLOOKUP. So it is going to look for this in the first column. Thereby, I want to fetch the second column value as an exact match. Okay. So what you got is, let's check whether it is taxable value. Okay, anyway, let's quickly copy and see whether it is fetching right values. Okay, maybe the kind of selection of the top row 34, there is some blank in between. Let me just quickly edit that. This is starting from, because there is 2 columns in there, so it has started to pick up from there onwards. Don't worry about it. Okay, now what we got is, it has picked up all the taxable values from the GSTR2A, which is matching with the data what we have in our table purchase. The same trick I'll use in case of purchase register, sorry, GSTR2A. I'll say VLOOKUP, look for this value. Where I look, I'll use if true using curly bracket again. Like I can also use 1, 0. True is nothing but 1, false is nothing but 0. So I can use 1, 0 also. So the name what we have used in case of other table is unique underscore value, that is in purchase register, comma, we said taxable underscore value. Now it is looking for this particular value in the other table where we want to fetch the second column value as an exact match. And I'll just pull this off. Now the only part is left is just to check whether the values what we got is matching with the taxable value what we have in the given table. So this is the taxable value pulled out from the purchase register. I want to differentiate this with the taxable value in the GSTR2A and to check whether everything is right or wrong. Okay, so except for this particular value, rest of all are matching. So this could be which is not fitting in the combination, or genuinely this transaction is not there. Just to check, 35,991 in the purchase register. This starts with the invoice number 17. So invoice number 17, it's not there. So that is one invoice which is there in GSTR2A, not available in purchase register. That's the comment what we are going to capture. Coming back to the same, in this case, I'll validate my taxable value, which is there, with the taxable value in the purchase register to cross check if everything is matching. Here also, we have one in purchase register, which is not reflecting in your GSTR2A. Okay, so that way we have reconciled purchase register with the GSTR2A to identify what are the transactions which are there in my purchase register, which are not there in GSTR2A, vice versa kind of. Okay, so as I said, many ways are possible, but this one, in fact, personally, I've used in many assignments and it has worked out. In fact, to the highest kind of data, but I would have probably reconciled around 8,000 odd of transaction, which reconciled 98% of the data within just 10 minutes of time. So it's only that 2% of data where manual intervention is required, which anyway sometimes we can't provide because still the human error what would happen. But ultimately, this is where you can just do simply reconciliation of your GSTR2A. Okay, so I believe you understood. If in case you have any doubt, you can just refer to the YouTube video. Others, maybe you can make a note so that once we come back for hands-on workshop, you can just recollect and probably remind me in taking up this particular. So that's about GSTR2A reconciliation from my side, and I request we'll start with because this is the continuation what we have taken care where we have left yesterday, just to complete that particular aspect. Now probably I'll request either Premnas or Saran or Alok to take up, because what we thought is day before we have dealt with prior to audit, yesterday we have dealt with during audit, and today we thought of covering the audit documentation aspect and all. So maybe if Premnas sir is ready, he can take up audit documentation.
I'll just take it forward, sir.
Please.
I request Karan to take it.
Sure.
The importance of configuration is thrown here. We have seen the name entered in the system is not as per the name of 2A or GST entry cards.
Yeah.
So there is a way out in Tally to port the data from Excel to Tally. I'll cover that little later. You can change all those configuration. You can clean all those data very well Today the tools are available where you can take the data from Tally into Excel, and again from Excel into, you can take back to Tally again, meaning you should be very careful in this process. There are organizations, they create one Tally, use it for the so-called black and white, and they dump back into Excel using sort, filter, find, replace, um, rounding off, sampling methods. They change the data into Excel, either multiply it with 0.95 or 0.85 or so, and then again redump into a fresh Tally, and then give it back to the auditor. Meaning, once it goes into the Excel, in Excel, they will format it in such a way, they use forward integration and backward integration with the computation of total incomes, and redesign whatever they wanted it, and then report back into Tally and then give back that. So those things are also possible. If that is done, you can find out with the date when these things are being done. So such audits can be done. So that be rest assured. And we need to use this porting from Excel to Tally and all in a very judicious manner. Okay, let's listen to Sharan.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vijay, sir, for the excellent presentation on 2A reconciliation. I don't think so anywhere we can find this much of lucid and crisp presentation. Let me go into the same audit part where I stopped yesterday. Today I would like to go little advanced, as today is third day. As we are progressing, obviously the tools also has to progress. Otherwise, there is no meaning of spending of so much time here. In MS Excel, there is a great tool. If you ask me, who is the person who is growing much faster in the world than anyone else, I'll give the name Microsoft Excel, because in the last couple of years, the growth of Excel is great. They introduced one great concept into the Excel, that is nothing but the ETL. Okay, ETL, that is nothing but the Power Query. You may immediately ask the question when I say this, Mr. Saran, what is the concept of the ETL? E is basically your Excel is capable of extracting the data from any source. It can take from any source. That includes your source can be PDF, your source can be SQL, your source can be even Tally database, your source can be another Excel file or CSV file, XML file, JSON file, and so on. Once it extracted into your system, your Power Query is capable of transform the data. There are so many options through which you can transform the data. That is what I'm calling it as a model. If you look into the entire presentation of Vijay Srinivas sir or my presentation yesterday, we followed one methodology. Okay, if you can keep this methodology into your proper formulas, that becomes a model, so that the same model I can apply every time on any of the reconciliation. So though it looks like Vijay Srinivas are taken for only one file, maybe if you can adopt the same model for any of the data, your job is very simple. Now let me look into the aspect of the auditor. So I may take up the assignment of reconciling 2A versus the books. So maybe I have 100 clients. How can I do the same job of Vijay Srinivas sir, what he explained? Let's say doing that, because he's the master on Excel, he might have completed in 1 hour. Maybe for you, it takes 2 hours. If you have 100 clients, you need to have 200 hours to complete the job. Instead, if I can make it a model in my entire Excel, in the Power Query, in the transformation, next time, whenever I just copy paste the data, whenever I give the proper source, once I refresh the data, the entire work happened. That is what the transformation is. Transformation in Power Query in whatever the way we want. Once you transform the data, that's not the end, right? You have to get back the data into your Excel. So I load my data back into my Excel for any analysis or chart and so on. Okay, this is very important part. This is part of, though it introduced in 2010 version as the add-in, as an add-in, but they are not giving any support as of now. But if you are using the Office 365, it is having up-to-date version, up-to-date upgrade your Microsoft Excel version so that you can use the great tools like the Power Query. Let me come back to my yesterday's session. I was talking about when I take the entire day book, when I convert it into this format, I can't obviously do the audit of all 3,000, 4,000 transactions as the time is very limited. Then we understood a method how to get the samples. We have used data analysis yesterday, which has given me a let me go to the data where you can find data analysis using the sample. Are you finding here? There is an option called sampling. This is what we have used yesterday, where we have selected all the document numbers and I asked Excel to get 50 samples. Now, someone yesterday messaged me after the session that Mr. Saran, maybe, okay, you are selecting only the 50 samples, but let's say I have 5 staff members called, let's say Vijay, let's say Premnath, okay, just as an example, don't mind. Let's say Saran, and let's say Satish, and let's say Deepak. There are 5 staff. I want to allocate my samples to all these 5 people. Then how you can do it without manual intervention? It's very simple. Now what I'll be doing, let's say I want to take now 150 samples. What I'll be doing, I'll go to the data. Let's go to the data analysis. Let us go to the sampling. I'll just click OK. My input range is this. Out of this, I want 150 samples and I want my output of the samples to be presented, where I want to get these all samples somewhere here. Let me just click OK so that all random 150 samples presented here. Now I want to get any of these names to be appeared here. I'm going to give you a small function called choose. Okay, what this function does, it's going to randomly select these values. But how can you tell to the Excel randomly? It's very simple. In Excel, there is a function called a rand between. What this function does, it's going to give me between 1 to 5. Okay, any value it will take because there are 5 staff for me. Okay, now if this one is the first staff, then F2, then F3, F4, F5, close bracket. The meaning is, Excel, could you please pick up any of the staff name? Because I don't want to be even biased for any of the staff. Out of these all 5 staff, choose one staff based on the position number of this. Since it's a random between, it's going to give the random value. So let me freeze all these 4 items. Let me put F4 so that once the dollar symbol comes, whenever you copy paste, that will not change. Since these all are the staff names which are standard, let me enter. You can simply copy paste. If you want to make it more simple, let me put F9 again so that if you don't like this, maybe you can keep on pressing F9. At one point, you can stop. You can copy this just to give this formula outside so that this may be useful for you for the reference later. I'm just putting here. Now I can simply copy this. I can do paste special values. So this is the staff name. Wonderful. Okay. This is another documentation through which we understood how we can make a sampling for the staff. This is the staff name. Okay. Now, friends, this data, you can just make it in a small pivot table. You can just go to the insert and you can go to the, to present this data properly, go to the pivot table, then just click OK. Then you can take the staff name somewhere in the row label. Let me just drag this down. As I said, always remember everything, whatever you are doing. I request you to keep it in a proper presentation because this acts as a working paper later. You can go to the design. Maybe you can put into the tabular form. So you can just send across all these invoices to the Deepak and you can send across all these invoices to Premnath and so on. This is the way you can quickly make a staff sampling. Okay. This is one aspect. Yesterday, okay, these all are the ledger accounts we have seen starting from here till here. Now I want to analyze VRK chemicals related entries. What you need to do, you should go back to the working file, filter for VRK chemicals, VRK. you will get all these, out of which you need to take the document number. Then again, you have to use VLOOKUP function and so on. Oh my God, there is a lot of work. But let's say throughout my audit, I need to work for 20 ledgers. I need to have a very keen concentration and audit for 20 ledgers. So the same process you need to work for 20 times. That is the place where ETL tools come into the picture. So let me put this name as a ETL. So what is the work which I'm gonna do here? Everyone, I request you please concentrate. Let me remove this for the time being, not required. I'll just select this data. Okay, you can just go to the data tab. This is what I'm talking about, the Power Query part, get and transform data. If you are using 2010 version or 2013 version, you'll get it as a different tab. From 2016, it is part of your Excel. You can just click this button. What is this button? This data, I want to take it into my Power Query. Once I click this, it is going to ask me first, Sharon, do you want to convert this data into the table format? Because it will not generally take the range, it always take the table. Let me click OK. So now this data I am loading into, I'm extracting from my Excel into the Power Query. So extract part is over, right? So give the name of this table as, you can simply right click and you can just give this as daybook so that it is self-explanatory. I hope everyone understood now. I have taken my entire daybook into my Power Query. Now let me just close and load to, because I don't want to do any transformation. I extracted, I ignored the T part. Then I want to load back into my Excel, but not as a table, because table is already there. I just want to create as a connection. Once you create the connection, what it happens, Excel store this entire data at the backend. Whenever it is required, you can use it. Let me click OK. Wow, wonderful. Now, let me go here. This is what the place I would like to do the analysis. So ledger analysis. So ledger extract. Concentrate everyone. I'll just give the name of the ledger here. Let me give the name as ledger. Now, how many ledgers are there? Now I want to take a VRK chemicals ledger. Just take this name. Okay. Now what do you need to do? Let me also take this into my query. Okay. So Power Query. First Excel converts this into the table. So click my data is having headers because ledger name must be the header. Click OK. Again, I'm extracting my Excel data into my Power Query. And I'm not going to do anything except renaming it. This is nothing but my ledger to be extracted, or else you can put ledger underscore sample. Anything is fine. Ledger sample. Wonderful. Don't do anything. Just come back. Close and load to. Only create as a connection. Click OK. That's all. Guys, now what I'm gonna do, I want to extract VRK chemicals related entire data here. What I'll be doing, I will just go to the data. Okay. Now, first we will get all the document numbers of the VRK chemicals. Okay. Once you get all the document numbers, you can extract all those document numbers data here. Now, let me go back to my working file. Now you can just filter VRK chemicals. You can simply copy this and you can just go here and you can paste here. Now this is nothing but document number. Okay, let me select this. I will also take this into my Power Query. There are 3 Power Queries which I made till now, 3 queries. One is daybook, the other one is sample. Now I'll just take it as a document number. Okay, so yeah, you can't use the dot as a name. You can just simply put doc number. I did nothing till now except taking all the tables into my Power Query. I know for the first time, if you are listening, this may be a little complex, but once I can make here little automation, you'll get to know how great this feature is. Now let me just click OK. Now all the 3 queries are here. I want to use a feature called combine. What I want to do, I want to extract all these documents data from this working file, right? For that, we have used earlier equal to VLOOKUP function. Instead using the VLOOKUP function, I want my Power Query should do the automation. Keep the cursor here, go to the data. Okay, once you go to the data, get data, are you finding here there is an option called merge? Try to understand merge is something merging two databases together. Append is something keeping one database below other database. Generally, append happen in a situation if the same type of data is there. Merge happen in a situation out of two databases if one common column is there. In this case, I'm going to use the merge option. Let me go to the merge. I want to merge taking daybook here, right? And also I want to merge taking the document number. Okay, now you need to select what is the common column. This is the common column. Basically, in the Power Query, there are 7 types of merges there. Okay, since I'm not going deeper towards the ETL tool, so in this case, what I want to take all from the second, matching from the first. The meaning is, in the second table, whatever the document numbers which are available, please take only those document number from the first table. If I just click OK, it will take to my Power Query and showing me, Mr. Saran, whatever the items which are available in your document, these all are the ones. Okay. In fact, this one is not at all required to me now. I can simply right click and I can remove. The another best part of the Power Query, it keep all the steps which you are doing. But in the regular traditional Excel, this particular stepwise recording is not there. The advantage of it is, if you do any mistake, you can simply remove the step so that you can go back. Normally we do Control Z, right? Instead, this is the beautiful option. Now I can remove this and I can just rename it as ledgers for audit. Simple, right? Now enter. I want to load this data. Where you want to load? Close and load to. I can decide where I want to load this data. I want to load in the same Excel, maybe from here. Once I click OK, my VRK chemicals data is coming here. I hope you all are following me what I'm doing, right? Now, for example, I can take maybe the other ledger related. Now you can understand exactly what I'm doing. There is a name called USK Software Private Limited. Now you can simply take USK Software Private Limited here. Now let me just paste the data here. Control V. Sorry, I think I have Control C. Now I want to get the details of this. Just go here. Now you can paste it. Now this data, I want to get how many documents are with this name. Let me just do Control V, enter. These all are the document numbers. Control C. Now you can simply go here, do here Control V. Now once I do Control V, these all ledgers has to come out. Now I need not to do anything. You just need to refresh this. Check it out. All these ledgers appeared here. Now, if this ledger is belongs to, let's say, Saranya or whoever Saran or whatever the staff name, you copy this and paste it as a separate Excel. Now, let's say I want to see, for example, the ledger account. Maybe let me take the ledger account called this company. Now, let me go here. Okay, I probably can take this, Control V, enter. I can just copy this. Maybe you can just need to go and paste here. Now what happened? You need not to do anything. Since the transformation, I'm really sorry, there is a little power cut here. Let me switch off my camera. If I refresh this, what Excel is doing, Excel is taking these all documents from the original table, just refresh all. This is what the proper automation. You may ask me the question, Sharon, why you need to even take these document numbers here? Why can't you directly get these document numbers from this? That is also possible. Okay, this I am just giving you for your thought. Now you can take this as the table. You can merge with this table, delete all these columns except this column, and you can get here. And once you give the ledger name, your ledger related entire database will come out. How this we can do it? I'm just going to demonstrate very quickly. Now what I am going to do, I want to get these document numbers for this ledger name. Can you help me out? What I need to do? Just Maybe you can memorize these steps. Go to the merge. Can you tell me what I need to do now? Simple. Let me take the day book. Now let me take the ledger. What is the name I kept here? This is the ledger sample, right? What is the common column? Ledger name is the common column, and here particulars is the common column, right? I want to take all from the right table. Now let me click OK. Now let me click OK. What it does, it has taken all the records of this particular company, but in fact, I don't want all these columns. I can simply select from this column, hold the control key shift, select this column, right click, remove. It is just giving me the document number. Now let me right click and give doc number for ledger sample, right? Enter. Now I want to load this, close and load back. Where you want to load? I want to load somewhere as a table in the same Excel here. Enter. Wow. It has given me all the document numbers. Now what I gonna do, whatever the final result which I got here, now let me go to the Power. You can see now there are so many queries. This result is coming from this table. Now I'll simply link to this table. This table name is doc number for ledger, right? Have a look what I gonna do here. Document number, this is the ledger for the audit. I'll simply right click. I'll go to edit. The beauty of the Power Query, you need not to reinvent everything. You can simply go to the source here. Are you finding your setting symbol? Click this. Instead me selecting the document number, now let me select the document number for the ledger sample. Okay, now you select this. Click OK. Now everything happened automatically. It is going to remove that column. Now just close and load. Since it automatically loaded, this is the final result. Now this manual work is not at all required to you. What I gonna do now? You can even now have the drop down. If you are little Excel pro, I can just go to my ledger master. I can select these all items. Now what do you want? I want to look into the freight. This is the place where generally a lot of cash related transaction happens. Now, once it happened, go to the data, refresh. Once you refresh, with this, all document numbers will come here. With this document number, all the items will come here. Let me refresh. Wow, everything appeared. Check it out. Three related transaction is here. 261 related heading here. Now, with this data, you can make a pivot table. You can do n number of analysis out of it. Maybe let me take another one. Now I want to take purchases. Purchases obviously comes bigger. Let us take some name of New Genesis Private Limited Secunderabad. Now if I refresh, check it out. Every ledger will come here. Refresh. Every ledger will come here wherever New Genesis Private Limited is there. Now I can simply copy paste this data out and I can ask my staff to look into. If you can do this type of small automation, I am sure maybe for the first year, it is difficult for you. If you can make all these steps properly and you can have a model, next time onwards, the audit of the same company will not take much time because you already set the model. As yesterday, Premnath sir mentioned how you can create trial balance directly from your directly from your day book. In the same way, if you have a model, next time I'll simply click all those items. These items will create automatically at the backend. As simple as it. This is the advantage of using the ETL tools. One of the great feature of Microsoft Excel, which introduced in 2010. But if you are using Office 365, there are so many advantages. The last one, let us see Premnath and company. Let me go to the data. Refresh. Wow, only those ledgers are appearing here. For me, the job is very simple. Okay. Any question till here? Maybe we can take it. Otherwise, sir, anything you want to add, Vijay sir?
Nothing much. Your code probably let it be, as I said, a brainstorming. Let them make note of it, and once they visit for the hands-on, we can explore it in a better way.
Yep. Okay, this type
1
of
minute, Sharan,
yes,
1
sir.
minute, Sharan.
Yes, sir.
This is a super excellent tool. We are trying to bring the files that are scattered in multiple places. It's more useful in ERP. Like say in Tally, everything is in that one click. Drill down from voucher level to the balance sheet and balance sheet to the voucher level, which is not possible in ERP because of data integrity and so on and so on. So in that case, the tool, the process that Sharan has explained, how it will be useful in ERP audits for data validation. As I started with true and fair Satyam to validate. Again, let's see how this will work. I'll just share one Excel file, which is downloaded from the ERP, and try to relate what Sharan has explained. This is a ERP data. See, you have plant location, which state, sales representative who sold, the phone number and mail ID of the customer, type of customer, product, then invoice number, date, metric, then all this. Then the you have so much of data here, transport details and all. Right. What is the importance of this? As we have seen, Sharan has clubbed 2 or 3 data sets. Now what I'll do is I'll take this data set of sales file with data set of collections from customer collection file, and the sale file will be taken in the process what Sharan has explained. And now I would like to find out what are all the collections that are being made by sales representative wise. Whether the sales made by a particular representative is very high, but collection is very low. Number 1. 2. Not only that, once you are able to club this mail ID and phone number and address of the customers, which is lying in sales customer master, and that customer master versus this sales data file I am taking, and then looking at customer wise, how many of them have same phone number, how many of them have same mail ID, how many of them have same addresses, and how many of these sales customers having same phone number, same address or email ID have defaulted and new customers are created. Meaning the ERPs are so strict that they have a credit limit. Once the credit limit is expired, a new customer is created. A new customer is created with the same phone number and so on and so on. And if such things are done by the same old employee, then they are trying to cheat the management. Meaning, these kind of things are not possible through a ledger scrutiny, but these kind of data analytics is possible only through Excel new version, what is very easily demonstrated by Sharan. Let us take this into a reverse format. I said this is sales data. Let us take this as a purchase data. Now, these are all the purchase officers or the managers or the plant manager, and these are all the suppliers. Now, look at the other way around. Why one particular customer is paid in advance, whereas the other customers are paid after a credit period offered by the supplier. Credit period offered by the supplier is 45 days, say, but there are some customers who are being paid well before 45 days, and those customers are coming from one particular employee or one particular region or one particular plant alone. This will make us to understand the fraud or corruption that is going on inside. This is not possible with a simple ledger, even in Excel, even in Tally, or in ERPs. This is possible only by extracting various data sets and simply following the procedure that Sharan has explained. I think this is what I wanted to share. This will validate. This will validate the data. This will validate the true. This will validate the word Satyam I said, because it is the management which says true and fair, and I need to validate the processes through which true and fair is established, and I need to validate those processes as per the auditing standard process, which I'll take up little later. Let the Sharan please complete it. Yes, Sharan.
Thank you, sir. In fact, you connected the right point. I think when you are trying to talk about this, I am recollecting one assignment which I did for one of the telecom company long back. For the vendor verification. Actually, that is there are so many caps they are allocating. In fact, they are arranging for the clients as well as vendors as well as for the staff. So they have given an assignment that, Sharan, we just would like to have little analytics into our vendor data. So what are the methods you can follow? Maybe you can just give us the genuineness of these vendors. Then at that time, the Power Query was the new. What I did, I have taken the Power Query data. We did so many analytics, but one important thing which we identified in that particular entire assignment, in the nature of forensic, I have taken another data set as the employee data set, staff data set, payroll data set. So these two data set, I appended one below other to make sure that the common column is the address. So when address is same, then we started looking into the fuzzy and combining the vendor name and the staff name. Wherever vendor name and the staff name are near to the same address, we want to pull out that. We surprised out of, especially the vendors, out of all the vendors, specifically I'm talking about the cab related owners, more than 80 to 90 cab owners are nothing but the wife or whoever the spouse of the staff employee, because the address is same. Whenever we have taken the vendors, all the addresses, and when we sort all the addresses of staff, there is a fuzzy between these two people, then tools like Idea, that time I still remember we used Idea tool also. So Idea tool highlighted that, okay, Mr. Sharan, these two addresses are same, but unfortunately one person is a vendor and one person is the staff. So we identified, we taken all those out. Then we identified one pattern that out of 250 cab services they are taking from the owners of cab owners, 80 to 90 are nothing but the spouses of the staff. So using the analytics, we can do a lot of things. I'll just go ahead with my presentation of this. Before going into this, let me give you, whenever in case of reconciliation, what is the method you all gonna follow? Let me open this file. Let me share this new file. If I'm not wrong, the word called reconciliation is same, not just in India, not just in US, throughout the world. Wherever you go in this world, the reconciliation word is having the same meaning. What is the meaning of it? If we take the balance as per source 1, then we do a couple of adjustments, then we reach to the balance as per the source 2. If I have two sources of data, like one source is ERP, the other source is bank, how we do the reconciliation? We do a lot of complex methodologies. I'm not going much in depth into the using the pivot table, then we look up using sum function and so on. Why? Because we have something very simple feature than all those. What I'll be doing now, everyone please have a look. I think my screen is visible. Let me just check whether the same screen. Yes. Okay. Now I'll just keep the cursor here. I don't know how many of you know about a concept called consolidation feature in Microsoft Excel. Let me go to consolidate. Okay.
You better switch off your video. There is a bandwidth issue. There is a bandwidth issue. I think you can switch off your.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Now I'll go to the consolidate feature. This particular consolidate feature is doing what, you know? It's going to consolidate two data sets. Okay. Let me select the first data set. Let me add in the memory. Let me select the second data set. let me add in the memory. But if I follow this, if I continue this, there is a problem. You know why? Since the headings are same, Excel doesn't know that it has to give one after other. Since the headings are same, it's going to consolidate. But in this particular scenario, I don't want to consolidate, but what I need to do, I want to compare. Okay, so let me close this without doing anything. Just to make my columns are different, I'll just make this amount column as a ERP, and I'll just make this amount column as a bank. This is one important thing you need to do. Now you can keep the cursor wherever you want to have a reconciliation. You can just go to the consolidate feature. Now already those data sets I have selected. If you observe carefully, B3 to C14 I have selected. Then E3 to F13 I have selected. Just select the top row and left column. These two, why I'm selecting? Because whatever the reconciliation you are, whatever the consolidation you're going to have will be the two-dimensional data. You'll be finding something on the top row, and also you'll be finding something on the left column. If you observe carefully, it is saying use labels. The label meaning in the entire MS Excel is the unique value. That's why even in the pivot table, you'll be having row labels, column labels, filter labels. That means those all are the unique values. Just select these two check boxes, click OK. What it does, very great. It has taken all the unique values from both the tables, the references. It kept one below other. And for each reference, what is the ERP and what is the bank, it kept one after other. Once you got till here, I think your job is very simple. Just for making format more simple, I'll just copy paste my headings properly so that you can understand what exactly the columns these all are. I think 50% of your reconciliation is over with this small consolidation feature. Generally, people follow different methods to get this. Many times you can even use for 2-year reconciliation. This even you can use for vendor reconciliation from 1 month to the other month. Maybe if you have all the 12 months data, you can keep all the 12 months data instead of having into different sheets. You can put everything into one sheet, one after other, and so on. And n number of ways you can use this. Now I'll have a difference column. I want to start from ERP balance. I have to reach to the bank balance. In that case, what I'll do, I'll simply put bank minus ERP. I will simply drag this down. Okay. So what happened once I drag it down, I got the difference. Now I'll just simply put the remarks column. You can have the filter. How to get the filter? Either you can use the shortcut given by the SAR, Vijay Srinivas sir in the earlier session. Otherwise, you can go to the data tab and you can click the filter. This entire methodology name which I kept is for filter reconciliation. Why? Because even to fill the remarks, you need not to put a lot of effort. Simple remarks. First filter, I gonna do for blanks in this column. Just do the blanks filter. What is the name you can keep here? Only in bank. This is what the description. I hope you all agree with me. Remove the filter. Then the second filter, I would like to have for the blanks again in this column. Let me select the blanks from this column. I'm going to keep it as only in ERP, right? The third filter, I will be having here for the zeros. Third filter. When difference is 0, that what is the meaning of it? I'm sure everyone accept with me. These all are properly reconciled. The last filter I gonna do for the blanks again, I am going to put here for all the blanks, these references are available in both with difference. Here, I need not to put any logical brain, just following all these 4 steps. Once you are done till here, now let us quickly make my reconciliation. Let me have the particulars. Let me have the amount. What I'll be doing, I'll start with the sentence like balance as per ERP. I'm going to link this to the ERP table. Now, could you please tell me what I need to write here? I need to have a plus symbol. I need to add all the items which are only in the bank. My suggestion here, you better use the same description what you have used here. so that you can use the formulas later. I'll subtract all the transactions which are only in the ERP. Then I'll put either plus or minus what? I will put available in both, but with difference. Finally, I'll reach the balance as per the bank. Guys, this process is the standard process. Okay, now I can make it sum, right? This total must match with your bank balance. I'm going to put a check here, this minus this, because validation controls are most important. That's what we learned on the first day. This 31,330 must be my value here. So I need to write here a simple function called sum if, because I want to sum all these criteria values from the difference column. I think Vijay sir covered very elaborately how to give the defined names. I can simply select these two. I'll use the shortcut Control Shift F3 if I'm not wrong. Please correct me, sir. Okay, I can just take top row, click OK, so that you got two defined names. One is the difference column, the other one is the remarks column. Using the defined names is always good in the formulas because it is self-explanatory. It is making your formula self-explanatory. Now I can simply use a function called sum if. In which column I should look for this value? In the remarks column. That is what the range. Range means criteria range. In this column, I need to look for this. Great. And finally, if this value matches from the remarks, I should total the value from the difference column. Close bracket. Enter. You can simply copy paste this. Wow. Your reconciliation got matched. Out of this entire process, only one feature I have used called consolidation, which is the most important. Once you use this feature, I made a difference column. I filled the remarks without using much of my brain, following the standard which I made it, filters. After that, I have used the sum if function. But friends, if this reconciliation to do, maybe because I already know this process, I just made it in 15 minutes. If you are doing for the first time, I'm sure it will take more than half an hour. Maybe second time 20 minutes, third time 15 minutes. Understand a situation tomorrow for a client where there are 30 to 40 reconciliations are there based on the common reference number or check number or document number. You need to reconcile the tables. 30 into half an hour is like 15 hours you need to spend. That is the place. Again, you need to use the ETL tools. I'm not going to demonstrate how I can make this entire automation, but I'll just give you a small snap of it. This is the automation I have done for myself. Whenever I do any reconciliation, this is the table. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is the table which generally I follow. Okay, now what happened? These two are the sources, and this is what the reconciliation statement it is doing. Not only this, because people are always interested, if 43,300 is the difference, then could you please give me what is the extract of it? So I'm having all the extract, including the reconcile. If you can use the ETL tool like Power Query, you can understand how simple this job is. Now you can make, for example, now see, this is 4,10,000. This is 3,70,000, right? Now I'm going to change some value. Instead of 1,000, let me make it 10,000. So obviously my bank balance will go up 9,000, and somewhere there will be a difference. Everyone, please have a look. Enter. Let me refresh. Wow, everything got updated. Okay, now for example, I'm adding some figure here. Let's say this figure is my phone number 702234567. This is one reference number, and there is a 9,99,999. I want to be rich at least on the Excel, so that's why I kept the big number. So if I refresh, so this ideally must be only in the bank. Yes or no? Okay, let me refresh. Check it out. Everything adjusted automatically accordingly. Okay, if you have these type of tools handy, maybe you can have all these on the list, and whenever you have a free time, start learning these tools, and it can save a lot of time. For the article student or the principal or any of the chartered accountant, saving the time is nothing but improving the quality, because you can work on other things and you can put a lot of time where your real time is required. Let's say, for example, let me make it 99,999. You can simply refresh. Everything will happen automatically. Check it out. This changed. Now let's say, let me have other phone number 123345678. This is 55,000. Now, or else what I'll do, I'll just put the same figures here. And this ideally should sit in where? That must be into the reconciled. Let me refresh all. I'm sure this got reconciled. It gone from this particular extract. Okay. Anything you want to share, Vijay sir or Premnath sir? Through Power Query, these type of great automations you can do. Yeah, Vijay sir, you want to add up anything here?
Nothing. I think we can hand it over to Premnath sir. Probably he would like to cover the documentation part, what he was referring to. Or maybe Alok, if he is available, because what we thought is we'll cover the tally part of importing. There's a query someone has raised asking how to import, and I believe there is someone raising hand. Is it possible to unmute or woman money? I don't know. So if it is possible,
yeah, okay. That is, I think, for a host. Yeah.
Sure. Anyway, Alok sir, if you want to continue with the way you want to import from the XML to Tally, and maybe I'm sure Premnath sir also has, because that was a query saying that how I can import my Excel data into Tally kind of thing. So probably we can hand over from this part to them, please.
So Vijay sir, that was excellent insight into how we can use the Power Queries with. So let's quickly now look into some more aspects into this, like about importing the data or exporting the data from Tally. See, Tally directly understands only XML language. It doesn't understand the Excel language directly. So either we have to use some tools if we want to import through Excel or other formats, or if, for example, let me see, show all. I've just already exported some data here. So for export, we can directly go to, let's say, for example, I'm just taking chart of accounts and ledgers, let's say Alt E for export, and let's go for masters. And I've just taken configuration option. In configuration, instead of masters, ledgers, we can take whatever we want to take. Already I've exported all masters, so I'm not exporting it again. I'm just displaying. We can see here all masters include dependent masters for the relationship between the different masters. We can make it yes, and so on. I've already exported in the name of ICAI, and as a sample, I'm just displaying here whether it is a bank statement or other things. Let's say F3, and let's go for create a company, and let's create here import at ICAI. Let's say Telangana, and whatever the company name, we are just importing here. Data is not yet imported. Now we have to go for import option here in anything in XML format, whether it is transactions, configuration, or any other things that we have just taken as masters. And as I told, I've just exported ICAI masters in the meanwhile in the name of ICAI. And combined now, while exporting and importing, we have to be very careful when we look into this behavior option, whether any existing data is there in the new Tally on a new company. Let's say if it is already existing, then we may ignore duplicates, or we may modify with new data. If anything which is already existing, it will get modified and the new data will be imported in the software. And the another option is combine opening balances. Old will remain and new will also remain. In our case, it is new company, so it is immaterial right now, whatever we select. So I'm just taking modify with new data. It will just show import failed for now, but it is already imported if you observe. And let's see, alter, ledger, all the ledgers are imported. You can see ledgers are visible here. If you want to see voucher type, we can see the voucher types are also existing. If you want to see stock items or any cost categories or anything that we want to see, it will also be visible. Now, I think stock item, there was some probably, okay, right. I have exported the entire data on 31st March 22, and I have imported only on 1st April 21. That's why the other items did not get imported, and only the items which had opening balance could have got imported here. So this was one of the options. Let us move back to the practice company, this company that we have been looking into since long, last 2 days. Let's see, going to the reports once again. And here we have just looked into this analysis and verification aspect. Okay, before let us quickly have this data analysis. We had already had a glance over this. We had taken the repeated transaction for duplicate. RSF factor is also again very useful tool. Relative size factor. Again, it's just displaying, comparing, as we can see, we have earlier seen in another format also, highest and second highest value in a ledger. Generally, highest and second highest value will not have larger deviation. If it is very high, there is a chance of error or a fraud in the data. We can see here, it is Mr. Vendere 76 times. Highest and second highest value, comparatively it is 76 times. Generally, this deviation should not be very high, because in a ledger, if there is a purchase, there will be a payment. If there is a sale, there will be receipt, and other things will be applicable. The deviation, if very large, we must evaluate those ledgers very carefully. Again, interbank transactions are all visible at one location. If we have multiple bank accounts, cash withdrawal deposits will also be visible as a separate report. Fixed asset analysis, at many places we have observed that entire fixed asset analysis is created separately for depreciation calculation. Here, the software directly provides us this information. If we have the fixed assets less than 180 days, more than 180 days, how many days, opening, if there is any addition or any deletion or adjustments in the closing balance. This entire report will be available in front of us. Transactions on holiday, we have already seen, like in Sunday or Saturday, whatever days you want to have as a holiday. Apart from that, the best part here is, no doubt we can see this directly, but you can see we can create another holiday, Labor Day or Gandhi Jayanti like this. Holiday configuration, Alt Q is available, where we have just put one Sunday as a holiday, or we can put multiple. And apart from that, we can set other holidays. This, I think in Excel, it was not very comfortable. We had to search separately again, or definitely we could have used VLOOKUP or some other format to which Sir has explained. But here it is directly going to give us if we just put the holiday calendar in the software. So ready report is available, and you can see we have done some sampling also, and this is kept on hold. It's a random sampling. We'll see the sampling in this software also. Similarly, like we have seen highest and second highest value, we can compare highest and lowest value to find out the range of transaction between a ledger, and directly it gives us the range. Any pending advances, we get a separate report, and if there are any stale checks, outdated checks, instruments, and you can see there is one check in hand, a ledger is created in the name of check in hand, and there is a Kangal, whatever bank. So this bank ledger, you can see the details are visible. These are the unreconciled data, because these checks are not reconciled. If it is reconciled within the software, then it will be more effective. At the same time, when we move forward, we also have here voucher verification. We can see here there are 53 data, out of which sample is taken as 12. We can go for sampling using master configuration from this Alt V. You can see sampling methods here, not just random sampling, which is visible on the right side. Alt V again, random sampling. We can see whatever, whether we want to take 10% or 10 numbers, both as possible. This first option for sampling. Apart from this, if we want specifically on a particular type of voucher, let's say on purchase, we want to go for sampling, whether we want to take all the vouchers or based on a certain range of amount, minimum or maximum one can be set, even number vouchers, odd number vouchers, between a specific period from a particular date to a particular date, specific vouchers, or Benford analysis, which Saran sir on the day one was explaining about Benford analysis. Directly it will generate the report for this also. So various methods of sampling are available here, and the best part is in Excel still manually some alterations can be made, but if it is done within the software, the clarity will be there that okay, random sampling has been run and the samples have been taken on that parameters. You can see here, sample when we presented is showing, I've taken here as a sample in even number vouchers and random sampling. How the samples have been picked automatically by the software. Now nobody can question if it is properly documented within the software. This sampling is available. We've already discussed about related party transactions as well as forex transactions, which are available in this sample, are visible here because we have already created it, and in our V master configuration, you can see here related party transactions is also available, and we have seen how to set the details. This is in analysis and verification. Apart from that, a very, very important and useful area here when we talk about, when we get the data from the client in Excel format, there is an issue whether the data is 100% correct or not. I'll just show a trick by changing the inventory value. Just let's see in P&L account, let's see. This is closing stock. Okay, this is the item or whatever the item we want to take. Just a sec. Yeah. So here, let's say this footwear. This is high value. It's showing that it is valued at 511 rupees 9 paisa. Right now, I want to maintain. I want to export it, because if it is exported, you'll say that we'll trust the data, right? I will manipulate. If I want to manipulate, that means manipulation can be done. So we must check the data within the software to identify if somebody has deliberately altered the data. Let us see here, this Nike here. Okay, F12 configuration. Let's make it yes for enabling more options. All configurations yes. And to alter this, we can use here standard rates. So identify, this is a tool through which if anybody alters, modifies it, it will be really difficult to pick directly in Excel. So we need to look into this data in this case. Alter standard rates, let's say yes. Suppose I'm just putting it 31st March and I set it as 500 rupees instead of 511, or maybe let's say 400 rupees, and 31st March 400 rupees. Control A, Alt F2, April to March. Okay. Now it has come to 510. The valuation, let me check. It should have got altered, but let me check again. Control Enter. Let me check this. Alter standard rates. 31st March 22. That's correct. 400 per pair. Okay, this was manufactured, so we have taken manufacturing cost. We have used this into manufacturing. So instead of that, let's stay into mobile and alter this. Yes, that was a manufacturing case. Let's say 15,000. March 15,000. Right now, only thing what we need to do here is, again, we have to enable more options here. So F12 configuration, let's enable some more option which is required to get this information, right? So let us enable the options in inventory. Let's enable the option. Just a second. Yes, for option. Okay. Yes, for option for stock option behavior and costing and market value. Yes, enabling the options here. Two options we have enabled. Sorry. We have enabled here costing method. We take here standard cost, standard price. This now you can see it is valued at 15,000. Now just imagine if the entire stock summary is exported in this format and we evaluate only in Excel, then how would we come to know what is the real actual price, actual valuation of that? because we trust on the Excel document. So this is one way how somebody can try to manipulate, and it will not be visible in the stock directly. Let's say, or G, let's say stock. Okay. Or G in go to, let's go to stock summary, and we can see here we can keep stock item wise also, and we can see that this apple is displayed at 15,000 rupees. There is in and out, and nowhere valuation will be visible. In a simple way, the valuation has been reduced in this example, or it could be increased, and it will not be visible directly. So we must ensure the controls are effectively implemented in the software in all the locations. This is one example. There can be many such examples. Apart from this, even there will be some budgets which can be used within the software. There are many tools, many tools that can be used in this software. We also have the budget options, and again, that can be configured. But before that, let's quickly look into, like we have just seen, importing into Excel through XML, into Tally through XML format. It will import only the format which it understands. So if we want to export from import from any other document or any other location, then it must be first converted into the format desirable by Tally. Means any Excel file cannot be directly imported into Tally. It has to be converted into XML format or through some tools. Like Premnath sir, I think he would like to display if it is available.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, with a sample of that.
Right. Okay. There are two things in this: import of data from Excel to Tally. The reason is manual bills are maintained, and such manual bills are entered into GSTR1, and purchases are there in 2A, and those things needs to be brought into Tally. First of all, as Alok said, it has to be in the XML. And to create an XML, first you need to have an Excel. So Excel has to be first formatted. That format, not for sales, I'm just demonstrating one simple format. This is one such small format where date, narration, sales, whether it is sale or purchases or whatever it is. Then you have debit ledger for whatever head of account. Then this is other ledgers, ledger 1, 2, 3. Then you can see the comment here. It is debit. Debit should always be put into the negative. And once you fill this data and export to XML, you can create an XML out of this. Then once you put all this data here, like from GSTR, you dump the data here. You already have a party name here. And what is debit? The debtor's name, party name, amount, and credit the sale. And at the same time, GST or CGST or IGST, whatever debit 1, 2, 3 and all you want to use it, through a calculation or whatever you can customize all and create an XML file. You can create an XML file, and the small macro is written here. Once you create an XML file, then that XML file, as you all know, we have seen the XML files. That XML file will so the XML file will look like this, and this needs to be imported. That is what our Alok has explained to you. So this XML will almost come and sit into it. Then the work is over. Like you can customize the bank statement. You have date, and the next column is particulars. That particulars you put it as head of account. Then check number, you put it, the check number column you have anyhow in the bank statement, that you make it as, that you can make it as a narration. And you have a debit one column and credit another column. Accordingly, you can generate that and then pull it into the Excel. Then automatically it will pull all that data into it. But only thing is, you have to ensure that whatever you write in the Excel, you need to create the ledger accounts masters. That's what Alok has shown it. This is one thing. One of the participant was asking for how do I connect the Tally ODBC. I'll not go in depth, but I'll just.
Prema, sir, sorry. Sir, your screen is not visible. Sir.
Yes. So there was a question on how to connect to the Tally data, back data. Then I'll just say data, get data from ODBC. So you already have Tally ODBC. So once you click it, it takes a lot of time. Hence, I'm not venturing into these things, and it takes a lot of time to go into all those things. So this is how short you can move into it. Then I've shown you how to go into from Excel into the Tally. And last but one, I'll quickly refer to. I said, let me compare the two most important one. One is the documentation and audit report, NEFRA report, and our documentation. So all the three I would like to document it. Now this is a log book. This is a log, meaning whatever you do in the office is only for the sake of client, for none other. So whatever you do it, we can customize it. Let's take, for example, at 14/5/2021 at this point of time, a team member called so-and-so for a client so-and-so, he started doing engagement activity. Why I should do about engagement activity? What is the process? Which stage of process is this engagement activity? Let me just show you this. So if these are various processes of audit, line by line with all the auditing standards, these starting from SA 200, 210, 220, and 250, you can see all this. These are all the processes you need to. These are all the procedures that you will be carrying out in an audit for a client, and all those processes as a task, as a main task, as a subtask, and what documentation has to be done is structured here. Main stage is SA 200, primary engagement activity. Then in that primary engagement task, sub-process is discussion with management, inquire about KYC, inquire and verify past history of promoters and group company. Who said all these? Where is it defined? If you open SA 200, you will find all these things, points given there. Those points I have pulled up here. And this is a part and parcel of documentation called permanent file. Okay. Now, what is that other activity I need to do as per SA 200? Let us see what it says about audit report. In the audit report, in the second or third paragraph, we are saying that we are complying with the code of conduct. Yesterday, we have seen this. And now let us see. I think my screen is visible. My word screen is visible. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So please confirm whether the PDF
It's showing key audit matters.
file is, browser file, web page is visible. PDF.
Yeah, it is visible. AQRR is visible.
Yes.
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, what NEFRA, as what I said is, NEFRA has started reviewing the audit file in the order in which we flow. The order in which the audit process flows is from SA 200 onwards. And the SA 200 starts with compliance of code of conduct, acceptance procedures, independence, and so on. And you can just see here, they have started with questioning whether the auditor has an independence or not. That's what this 23rd September file, their independence was impaired, and they said it is illegal and void. How they are able to conclude this? How they are able to conclude this is from their audit working papers. What that audit working papers talked about? The audit working papers talked about compliance with SQC, compliance with Section 144, Companies Act, Chartered Accountants Act, Section 2, SQC, Code of Conduct on Independence, and so on and so on. They have referred all to this. And how do I document all this in my Excel is what I have written here. The moment I start doing that work here, if my job is understanding and planning, then automatically this will change. This will change. Then if my job is preliminary activity alone, this is what all we have seen in using Excel and all. Now, if I select this preliminary engagement, then I'll select preliminary engagement. Now you can see automatically these activities have cropped up. Now, if I select something else, then this will change. In the same way, now identifying, as I said, identify the process. Sub-process is a risk mitigation analysis. And in that sub-process is again, the moment you select this, accordingly, this dependent will come here. Once you select this, then these areas will be selected. They're relevant. Now, as a part of preliminary inquiry, did you analyze the business process? Did you inquire on IFC, internal financial control, risk matrix, what can go wrong, procedures implemented and all? Did you go through as a preliminary identification? Yes, if you have done it. Now, if you have done all this job, what is the output? Reporting is your output. What are you reporting now? You are reporting that the internal control system relating to mitigation or as per the auditor's comment. Now you are saying that your observations are proper. When this work was done, this work was done between 9 and 5. Now, what is the type of this observation? It is talking about all these issues. What are all these? These are all various significant areas. Whatever you do, it will have an impact on the significant areas. These significant areas are taken here as a drill down. Now, once you select this, now based on your observation here, automatically it will say, based on the observation here, it will automatically say whether you have to give a clean report or what through a VLOOKUP. Now, that is how it is structured here. Now, you say here the observation, say observation type here, like say, for example, I will select the type of observation is, let me say, financial statements do not conform with generally accepted accounting principles is my observation. If it is not complying generally accepted auditing accounting principles, then what should you do in the audit report? You should give an adverse opinion. Now, this is how you are using a standard Excel template to see that once you are able to document, then you are not going to give a wrong report here. And this is what you are saying here in the audit report. And these audit reports like professional skepticism, verification, and all are thoroughly verified by the NEFRA in 343 pages of documentation. And you can imagine the way in which the NEFRA has gone up in this. There are 4 such reports available now on the NEFRA site. We need to sit and discuss and structure all those into an Excel kind of thing if possible. Otherwise, there are good lot of softwares that are available. You can log into any audit.in. You can log into any audit.in, which is customized now, which is being developed in the process of capturing all these processes. And there are many other softwares integrated. You can use all those. And for balance sheet analysis and all, for sales, what are all the sections that are applicable for Companies Act? In sales, what you need to look into, what are all the processes that are going to affect in sales, and what are all the processes that are going to affect in operating revenue, and what are the income tax sections, what are the GST sections, what are the other, like the drop down is not working here. Okay. So you have what needs to be done is templated here, which will be as a guidance to the students or to the members. You can customize all and then bring it into one Excel. And as Sharon was explaining, for reporting, once if you do in this file log, in this log, for a total year, everyone, every day, whatever they do is being done in a centralized Excel form. And like Sharon has explained to you, you can take the client-wise full year data, what has happened. Client-wise, full year, did you comply with all these procedures? If there are any gaps, it will say, yes, XYZ procedures have not been done. That itself is an indication for you. Or once you have done this, you can find out employee-wise what is his performance. You can find out client-wise whether all the activities have been done. Like say, for example, for accepting a client, for accepting a client, let me just see the code here. For accepting a client, there are these many procedures needs to be done. Like there are 20 procedures written down for accepting a client. Now, if my log talks about client-wise, there are only 7 procedures taken up, meaning there is deficiency in my audit working paper. This is how you can use a very simple Excel to fight with authorities like NEFRA when they talk about all these things. I think I have exceeded the time. This is only a concept. You can work more on these things. I leave it to Mr. Deepak.
Thank you, Premnath sir, and all the speakers. Excellent 3-day session, sir. We cannot express the knowledge dissemination in words, and I think the words will be shorter, and we cannot expect better than this in the 3 weeks. Before I say anything, I request any members who want to talk. I sincerely request if anyone wants to talk, we will allow them to talk, and any query they can ask or anything they want to say.
I think senior members are there. You may call on the senior members. I think Kali Prasad sir is there in the.
Sir, Kali Prasad sir is not there. I think. No. Sir, you can raise the hand, sir. I will allow the person who wants to talk can raise the hand. We can directly.
I think one person raised the hand, Mr. Mani.
Yeah, Mani, Mr. Mani, you want to talk? You can put in the chat. I'll allow.
Yeah.
Sriram, sir. Sitaram, sir. Chandrasekhar, sir. Anyone?
I think Sitaram sir was there. Sitaram sir is interested, you can find out.
Yes, sir.
The senior member. Sitaram sir.
Yes, he is there. Sitaram sir is there.
Sir, you can unmute, sir.
Yeah.
Amol ji, Deepak ji, Ramkrishna sir, anyone?
Sitaram sir, you want to talk something, you can, sir.
Murli sir.
Yeah.
Yes, ji. I think members, you can join anytime, sir. Yeah. Friends, we have tried to cover the various parts of the technology implementation and the demonstration of the tools, and we have shown you, like the speakers have shown, documentation for standards on auditing, how to maintain the quality control documentation, GST reconciliation, TDS reconciliation, data configuration, very important Excel functions, Power Queries, so on. So in these 3 days, we have touched upon the various things which we need to implement ASAP, because we all are feeling the heat of shortage of staff and the dependency on our traditional process. So we need to adapt the technology as early as possible. I sincerely place on record the efforts put in by all the speakers, Premnath sir, Vijay sir, Saran sir, Alok sir, for their excellent contribution and the knowledge dissemination for upgrading the skills of the members. Friends, I cannot say what efforts they have put in the background con calls, daily WhatsApp, Zoom calls, and so that they can give the maximum. The coordination was an icing in the cake. We hope the 3-day seminar has given the purpose which all the speakers and the committee has trying to put in, as the compliments are already started coming since yesterday, the first day, and today. I hope the purpose is solved and the session is well received by all the members. Friends, the videos of all the 3 days link is already put on the YouTube channel also for viewing by the members on the later. We request you to kindly participate in the maximum number so that it motivates the managing committee and also the speakers, and be interactive so that you can get the most out of the more as if we are like all the speakers' knowledge is like a sea. The more you want to draw the water, the more benefit we are. So over to you, Sitaram Reddy sir. Sorry, before that, I would request the speakers to kindly allow me the screen sharing. Sir, this is a small token of appreciation from Hyderabad branch. Kindly accept, sir. Premnath sir.
Thank you.
Vijay Srinivas sir.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Saran sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Efforts, sir.
We have a certificate for the time being only, sir. We will deliver to your address, sir.
Alok ji, this is of your certificate. Kindly accept, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Anything the speakers want to conclude in the closing remarks, sir, before signing off?
Nothing much. Probably I can say Hyderabad wait for the conference. So what branch is planning for a hands-on kind of thing. Hopefully it will be rolled out shortly. And as I suggested yesterday also, like let's have a representative each from one firm, so that if I'm accommodating 100 people, we have 100 firms benefited out of this. Hopefully it will be shortly rolled out, and let's see how we can make out that as a successful event as well.
Sure, sir. We will definitely plan, sir.
For all the participants, they've been really patient enough to more than the speakers to sit for 2 hours continuously for 3 days. That shows the interest what they've been showing for the last 3 days. That's really great of them. And thank you, Hyderabad branch, for giving this opportunity. Because of your motivation, your free hand, what you have given to the speakers, we could make it this possible. Thank you very much. And of course, thanks to Premnath sir and Saran sir and Alok ji, because it was a wonderful.
Premnath sir has really given the full authority to all the 3 speakers, co-speakers, to take the lead. This is so kind of you, sir.
And we are all doing same job.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are all working hard. Saran and Alok and Vijay Srinivas, they have done a lot, and it's my retreating season. And then it's for the younger generation to step in. The institute also should start developing young members, encourage them, come forward and commit more errors and learn. I still realize the way in which I have done the presentations in the past. So many errors, we used to do it on the stage, and then we have learned and come to this. It's high time. You need to push the youngers into, because they work more, they learn more. Only thing is, we need to encourage them. We need to push them into it. Then they'll start working. It's a high time. We need to pull them.
Sure, sir. Definitely, we request members to please come forward to take the leads also. We are open, sir. Sharan sir, you want to add anything?
Nothing, sir. In fact, great session. I thoroughly enjoyed with other speakers. In fact, this is what the great opportunity when you share the dais with other people. Virtually, in fact, we shared the dais. Excellent, all the speakers. Of course, we all learned from the Premnath sir, and we are following the same legacy. Myself and Vijay Srinivas, and Alok sir is extraordinary, presented the tally. In fact, I learned a lot of things from Vijay Srinivas and Alok sir presentation. Prerna sir, as usual, Wikipedia. So obviously, every day there is something to open and read. In fact, thank you so much for the Hyderabad branch for the great effort. Okay, every day at least some conversation in the internal WhatsApp group which created for this purpose, and con calls, and taken pre call with everyone in the Zoom. Great appreciation, sir, to you as well as all the MC members who are involved in this. Thank you so much once again. And thanks to the participant for the patient hearing.
Alok ji.
It was really a great opportunity. Thanks to ICAI Hyderabad chapter, which is like totally revamped, totally brought a new dimension by giving this coordinated training effort. Because individually, when we are training, it is different. But when we are coordinating with such experts like, say, Premnath sir, Saran sir, and Vijay Srinivas sir, the way they have explained about auditing and the way they have handled Excel, they've literally played with Excel. How we can explore new and new dimensions and new things into this software. It was really great exposure for all of us. And we have also learned a lot new things, the way they have handled. Heads off, sir. Thank you. It was, and thanks to ICAI.
Sir, we never felt it is a virtual platform. It was as effective and as equally contributory as it was in physical. It was only because of the so much expert knowledge of all the 4 speakers. We are just or a facilitator, sir. The real executor and the real batsmen were the speakers for the 3 days. Thank you. Over to Chinna Sitaram Reddy, sir, for formal vote of thanks.
Sir, it's a great learning for everyone, sir. For the entire three days, everybody is saying that's a real great lesson for them, and it's enhanced their skill and knowledge. Before enhancing that, how much you put the effort, same thing they're going to, with the easy way of converted and explain to them. So everybody is saying that, sir, it's really wonderful, useful for lifelong. So it's on behalf of the entire management committee of Hyderabad branch, all learned speakers, and thank you for all the participants. Sir, as per my view, it's only for first day and second day, but in view to their as and when they're getting a time, they're viewing, sir. By seeing that one, we can see that how many participants already they have viewed that YouTube link, sir. So that's a great learning, sir. And thank you for everyone. And thank you for all the participants. And thank you for the Hyderabad staff for cooperating and coordinating with this great 3-day session. And signing out and everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, looking forward for the same support in the days to come, sir. We will plan the 1-day hands-on training definitely.